All right, so here we are in what I've referred to as the bean hole, even though he hasn't planted soybeans in a couple of years, right next to it. But this is where you just saw I got my duck blind. We shot a duck in here. Only hunted out of it twice last year, I think, but shot a duck in here. It's where I almost shot mallards, but didn't have my gun loaded. So anyway, what did I do in this spot? So I didn't do much at all in here this year. I had planned to take out, there's a big maple. This is a pin oak tree right here that so far has yet to make an acorn. So I was going to take out this oak tree that's right behind it for a couple reasons. One, to reduce competition on the pin oak, but also we had birds fly right behind it last year. We could have shot if that tree wasn't there. So I didn't get around to that. Like I said, I didn't do anything in here at all this year. I came in, so today is June 2nd, 2024. I came in, it's Sunday, I came in last Saturday, end of May. And in this spot here, what's this, half an acre? I round-upped it. It was just all grown up in, there's a little bit of smartweed, but I think it's a prostrate smartweed, not Pennsylvania, so it doesn't really make a lot of seed. And just a bunch of, looks like maybe Johnson grass. I don't think it's barnyardgrass. I round-upped it and then came right behind it and threw out maybe 10 or 15 pounds of Chiwapa millet. So what's going on here? Actually, it's surprisingly good. This soil's very damp. We've only gotten one rain, but this is borderline. I mean, it's not muddy. I'm in sneakers and it's fine. But if you look right here, all that little bitty green grass stuff is Chiwapa millet. And this just happens to be a little bare patch. As I'm walking through here, I was even able, if we get down through here, look at this. This, below this cover of this dying grass, this is all Chiwapa millet that is coming up right here. That's very exciting. One of the things I do, the kind of a rabbit hole I've gone down while I'm researching stuff on how to plant for ducks, I end up watching a lot of farming videos and recently a lot of no-till stuff. Just cause I've always been kind of interested in farming and even though I'm not a farmer, I watch it. But this is not too dissimilar to what they do in some types of no-till, where they leave green vegetation. They kill it either from royal crimping or using chemicals, which is what I did. And then they plant over the top of that. And by golly, it's working. This is gonna continue to die. It may not all die, but it's going to continue to die out, and then that Chiwapa millet's going to come up underneath it. Look at this, there's a bunch of it right over here, over there in front of the blind, where it was actually just kind of naturally a little more bare dirt. It's starting to look like a lawn over there. So really excited with how this did. Well, not zero effort, very minimal effort. It seems to be resulting in a payoff. I mean, I'm just getting a little bit of this Chiwapa millet everywhere. One of the great things about millet is it's just so darn easy to grow. This is, look here, this is, we haven't got much rain, but this is muddy. You throw this out on a mud flat, she's gonna grow. I didn't turn this ground over. I didn't do anything. Like I said, I sprayed Roundup and then came right behind it with the seed and threw right on top of this. Now, you might think, wow, herbicide just gonna kill your seed. Nope. Roundup, or glyphosate is the actual name of the active ingredient, is absorbed through the leaves. It's not supposed to remain in the soil, even though I think there's debate on that. It does allegedly become inert when it gets in contact with soil, but it has to be absorbed through the leaves, so it doesn't hurt seeds. Excuse me. So yeah, I sprayed the millet down, or sorry, sprayed the glyphosate in here to kill off everything that was growing, and then came right behind it. So that seems to be working pretty good. And if you look over there, wow, I think I stopped right there with the spreader and got a real thick little stand. And for some reason, nothing's growing here. Maybe there was a puddle here and it just kind of flooded out the seed. Whatever, that's okay. There's going to be enough in here where I think it's going to be great. You can see here again, next to that big spider, is all the little green stuff. So considering I've only gotten one rain, this is still very damp soil. Man, this is fantastic. I'll get a little bit of the native stuff. I didn't kill it all off. I didn't spray that at all because I got stuck right there. You can see some ruts over where I got stuck with the four-wheeler. I had to winch myself out, but looking pretty darn awesome. So that's what we're looking at here in the bean hole in front of the duck blind. We'll see how it goes, and maybe we'll draw a duck in here, but looking good. Pretty excited. All right, real quick, I just want to try to be real quick. I'm kind of long-winded, right? Anyway, I want to just try to tell you guys why I chose Chiwapa Millet this year. I put rice in here last year. I kind of think maybe I got it in a little late. Maybe it didn't fully mature, whatever. Ducks didn't seem crazy about it. I know ducks love millet. In another place, I planted Japanese millet in the past, and they hammered it and moved on. So why Chiwapa Millet? Couple of different reasons. In no particular order, it's a longer maturing plant. It takes 120 days to mature. That can actually be a benefit for you because plants go through multiple stages, and if they don't get the right conditions in each of those stages, they're not going to produce well. A longer maturing plant spends more time in each stage of its life, so it has more opportunity to experience those optimal conditions. It gets rain at the right time. It gets dry at the right time, right? And it's more likely to do well than a shorter maturing plant. You think of a shorter maturing plant, gets up and grows really quick. Well, it might go through one of those stages of life and it doesn't get water or something there. It's not going to do well. So that's one reason. Really the main reason, I guess, is that it tends to be, it lasts longer once it's matured and died, and you flood it than Japanese millet. Japanese millet will fall over and rot very quickly. That puts all the seed in the water at once, and it makes it very, very easy for the ducks to just clean you out, right? Well, this Chiwapa millet, it grows taller. It can grow 3 to 5 feet. The stalk is much sturdier than the Japanese millet, and so it will stand in the water better. I've also heard some reports that it makes a bigger seed head than Japanese millet, so it's going to put more food out there. But really the main reason why is that it should last longer once I flood. It won't last all season, right? By January, you won't see any standing vegetation, but hopefully there'll still be some seed in the water, and ducks will still come to it. But really that's the biggest reason, is that it lasts longer once you flood. It doesn't rot as fast. Japanese millet rots very fast. Brown top millet doesn't like wet soils like this. It prefers a more drained soil. So obviously I wouldn't want to put that in here. But that's it, real quickly. That's why I chose Chiwapa millet, is that hopefully it will survive, not survive because it'll be dead, but it will hang around longer once I flood it. So that's all I got to say about that. Chiwapa millet is coming in strong in the big hole. This is where we really did the best last year as far as killing ducks. If you remember one good morning, Scott and Nate and I sat right back over here where I had the pallets and almost got our 3-man limit of wood ducks. We were too shy, but it was pretty fast and furious, and they were coming right in our face. So this is where I spent a lot of time this spring getting stuff ready. I told Tom, I said, I think I've put more effort in this year than I have so far hunting out here. We opened this hole up a bunch, took out more vegetation over there, clear around the edges, took down several large trees that were shading us out and sucking up water actually and preventing some of our crops from growing. And also what I found over the last 3 years is as I'm taking out more trees, pushing it back, the birds are coming in lower. But what do we got growing here? We're out here today to talk about what we got growing. We got duck groceries. As you saw, this Chiwapa millet that I put down 8 days ago looks absolutely fantastic. And this soil is still very moist, which surprises me. We only got 1 rain. It was a good soaking rain. I thought it would have dried out more. This stays low, probably doesn't get a full day of sunshine, so it probably stays a little shaded at times. But all these are reasons why I use millets and rice, and I don't try to do corn. One, it's too small. The deer would just mow it down. It stays too wet. This will flood at least once this summer, I guarantee you. It actually did about a month ago. So this stuff is going to survive. But what else do we have growing? We got volunteer rice. This is rice, and that's a foot tall. When I took the water off here April 1st, you know, when it warmed up a little bit, the rice started growing. And then next to that, we have, pretty sure this is all barnyard grass. There's rice and barnyard grass mixed in. I'm pretty sure that's all barnyard grass along the ditch. Some real thick areas of it over there. That, if you're not familiar, barnyard grass is a wild millet. It looks very, very similar to a Japanese millet when it grows up and matures. So it is a millet, just like Jap millet or what we're planting here, Chiwapa millet. So we're going to have a bunch of duck food in here. I'm pretty excited by what I see here. You can see, I just kind of walk through here slowly. All the little low stuff is the Chiwapa millet. I planted it early because Chiwapa millet takes 120 days to mature. So shooting for, you know, October 1st, even right there on a burn pile where it was a bunch of ash, that looks awesome. And then, you know, I don't know how well it comes through on this camera at a distance, but all this low stuff is Chiwapa millet, and it is coming in very nicely. Hopefully, there's even some interspersed. Hopefully it's able to, you know, not get shaded out too much by the wild stuff. Rice, the rice won't grow super tall. I'm more worried about the barnyard grass shading it out, but I think there's enough here. I mean, if I had my pick, I would probably reduce the amount of barnyard grass in here by half. And the only reason I say that really is because I'm not 100% sure it's all barnyard grass. It could be some other kind of grass like a Johnson grass or something, which won't help me. If it is all barnyard grass, and it's not hurt my feelings, because it's going to make seed, and then I'll have really probably 4 different, maybe even 5 different kinds of duck food in here. So obviously the Chiwapa millet I just planted, the rice that's coming back volunteer from last season, which is going to mature early because it started growing in April, which is probably a couple months ahead of when I planted last year. Then that barnyard grass, which is going to make nice seeds. There's not much smart wheat growing right here, and that's by design. If you remember, a couple months ago I came through here with 2,4-D with the intention of killing all of that and any other broadleaves to get ready to plant. It didn't hurt the rice that was coming up. It didn't hurt the barnyard grass that was coming up. So that's fine. But in the back, there is still some smartweed. Like I've said before, I don't think it's not Pennsylvania smartweed. I think it's prostrate smartweed, which doesn't appear to me. Leave me a comment if you think I'm wrong. It doesn't appear to produce a lot of seeds. And when I had nothing but it in here, ducks didn't use it. So we'll see. And then the number 5, we don't get a bunch of it, but we do get yellow nutsedge, which ducks will eat. Actually 6, there's some panic grasses that grow in here. So we might have a few, like 6 different types of seed. And there's actually even a couple of little pin oak trees here. That's a great big one. If you can see, that big tallest tree is a giant pin oak. I don't think it drops seeds in the water, but whatever. We're not going to be short on food here. So very optimistic. I know that's, oh, sorry, number 7. Give me a second, let me walk over here. Number 7 that's coming to the party, which, you know, if you're supposed to be fashionably late, this is a major social faux pas here. That is Japanese millet that's coming in volunteer from what I planted, and there's some smartweed over in there because I didn't do anything to try to kill this. I planted that July 30th last year, and it came up and it actually did its thing and was done. You know, it only takes about 60 days for that stuff to mature. So this stuff started growing in April. It is way, way too early to feed a duck. Honestly, about all this might do is grow up, drop seeds in the next month or so. It's early June 2nd, and then grow again. I'll take it. There's more of it growing in here now than there was last year when I seeded it. I didn't throw out much. I just had some leftovers from the year before I threw out. So I'm gonna let this do its thing. I didn't do anything. I'll let it go. My plan is for both of the duck holes is I'll come back here end of June, start checking on it middle of July. I found a place where I can buy small quantities of Japanese millet, like by 5 pound increments. And I'll come back in here and probably throw some of that out again end of July. Just in here, if there's any bare patches, which doesn't look like there's going to be much, I'll throw out some Japanese millet. And end of July, that stuff in 60 days will be up and it'll start to mature and provide some more seed. But I think it's crazy that this stuff came back and it looks pretty good. It's a little yellow. It probably needs fertilizer, but it's not going to get any. But I bet this stuff is going to start dying off in the next couple of weeks. I'll watch it. If it comes back, awesome. If not, we'll see. But that's pretty crazy. So what, 7 different types of native or cultivated seeds, maybe the occasional pin oak acorn, and very optimistic. So hopefully this is the season that we finally shoot something other than a wood duck. We've seen mallards. Nate and I sat right over there right at the end of the season and had a couple of mallard circles locked up right here behind me. They actually swung over us and we were both doing a good job of being still, but when they headed out that way, they saw something they didn't like and we got teased. I called him 5 o'clock Charlie because he just kind of showed up. He would always show up, and he would circle and irritate me to death and never come in. So hopefully this year we get these guys to come in. It's more open now. There's going to be plenty of food for them to eat, and I'm optimistic. If I shoot something other than a wood duck, that would be very exciting. It doesn't have to be a mallard. I believe we've seen teal out here. 2 years ago, I heard widgeon. I heard their little whistle that they make. I've heard ringnecks up the river, and like I said, I think we've seen teal. So it would be very, very cool to get something else in here other than a wood duck. Not that I've disparaged a wood duck. I just want to shoot something else. So that's it. That's it for our wrap up today. We saw a dove field. We saw 2 duck holes. So got lots of millet in the ground. Got lots of other stuff coming up. Hopefully, now all I can do is wait. I guess I'm going to build a duck blind over here. That's about it. That's it for today. Hope you enjoyed the little update and follow along as we go through the growing season, and definitely hit the old subscribe button, because if I'm right and this is the season, we're going to have some good hunts in here this year, and you're not going to want to miss it. All right. So, hey, thanks a lot for watching. Again, as always, I'm Bruce, and thank you for watching Foul Play Outdoors.